Greetings, everyone. My name is Adam Kirtley. I'm the chaplain here at Whitman College. I'm recording this video from my dining room. So you may see a child or a dog run by. Of course, I'm here because virtually everyone in our community has been asked to stay off campus if at all possible. We're all doing our part in that. Yesterday, we learned that we will not, in fact, be having an face-to-face, in-person commencement this year, and it's just such a sadness to realize that those of you who have been working in this community and with this community for nearly 4 years to complete these incredible tasks and this accomplishment that deserves celebration, at least in May, won't be happening in the way that we thought. And so my heart is heavy for those of you for whom this is your new truth and your new reality, I'm holding you and seeing you and caring for you in the midst of that. This week I've been thinking about light in the midst of darkness. So many of the world's great religious traditions use imagery around light, either talking about light within or the light of the divine or the holy that sort of envelops us. And among the sacred texts that I was considering comes from the poet Leonard Cohen, who in his song Anthem has written a chorus that says, "Ring the bells that still can ring, forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything, that's how the light gets in." I was thinking about stories from my own life in which I may have sought light in the midst of darkness, and I was reminded of a time when right when I graduated from college, I went to live on the island of St. Croix in the Virgin Islands, and wanted to work by day as a snorkel guide and by evening as a bartender. And those things eventually happened. But the day after I arrived on the island, a terrible hurricane came through and devastated the island. These folks that I had just met the night before, they were sort of distant friends of my parents. They had initially wanted to give me a place to land for maybe a week before I found my own place, but their house was devastated, and I found myself living with them for multiple months while I helped them sort of put their house back together. In the months prior to my arriving, I had worked at a really terrible Italian restaurant in Indiana, and it served bad food, and I was a server there, so the service was no good either. But one thing that I did learn how to do there was to fold these cloth napkins into these really ornate sort of floral designs. And so fast forward a couple months, we're on St. Croix. Food and water were somewhat rationed. We only had a couple of hours of electricity a day, and we were getting ready for dinner. I think it was going to be tuna stir fry, canned tuna stir fry on a paper plate, and I found a roll of paper towels, and I folded these paper towels into this floral design of the napkins that I had done in Indiana before I'd come, and it was, of course, it was a joke. It got a good laugh, but it became something of a ritual for us. For the nights that followed, I would fold these napkins into these ornate designs, finding a little bit of light in the darkness. So I think the reality of it is, as many of you maybe have seen, folks in Siena, Italy, leaning out their balconies and joining with their neighbors in song while they're all in quarantine. That we have the ability, I think, to hold light and darkness together, to acknowledge the pain and the suffering that's happening in the world today, but also maybe find moments to lean in to the joy and levity that we encounter as well. To hold the heavy and the light, and to hold the darkness and the light together. I think that sometimes we have the ability to do that. And so I guess that's my invitation for all of us is to look for those moments if we can. A colleague of mine, Colette Marie, who works in the Dean of Students office, after seeing last week's video, forwarded to me a poem that was written really quite recently by Rosemary Watola Traumer, and it's called A Change in the Light. Now, while the moon is hiding behind the clouds, now when the rain is falling midwinter, and now that they've told us not to hug or kiss each other for fear of contracting and spreading disease, yes, now is the time to find whatever light we have been hiding inside us, whatever measure of brilliance we've managed to conceal from each other, from ourselves. Now is the time to bring forth that luminescence and offer it freely to the world, now when the light matters most. All right, friends, here's to holding up the light where we can find it and where we can see it. I wish you the very best in the days to come. Oh, there's the dog. We said she might make an appearance. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I hope to see you around soon.